Anywhere in Nigeria and around the world, this is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. A new Electoral Act might likely replace the 2022 edition before the next general election in 2027. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu expressed the optimism while speaking to newsmen after swearing in of two INEC national commissioners by President Tinubu.
But we reviewed the 2023 general elections on our own. We engaged with the stakeholders. We came up with 142 recommendations. Out of these 142 recommendations, 8 require constitutional or electoral act amendment, and we discussed this with members of the National Assembly. So far, so good. We are happy with our discussions with them, and we are also happy with the speed with which they want to proceed, so that we'll have some necessary amendments done to the Electoral Act ahead of the 2027 general elections. As far as the law is concerned, and as far as I'm aware, I remain the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and under the Constitution, the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation, and under the Electoral Act, the returning officer for the presidential election.
The INEC chair reaffirms the Commission's commitments to operate within the laws establishing it. Following the 2022 Supreme Court judgment of delineation of wards in Warri Federal Constituency of Delta State, 3 communities are excluded from the unfolding political arrangements. Susan Esu reports that members of the affected communities are appealing to President Bola Tinubu to intervene.
Kushimi, Ewerigbene and Tekedo Kushimi communities in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State. The indigents earn their living through fishing and with a total voting population of 15,000. Residents of these 3 communities were active participants in previous elections, not until 2024 when they were completely removed from the INEC list. Why the communities are excluded from the list of communities in INEC's recent delineation exercise in Warri Federal Constituency is a cause for concern among the people, as this may disenfranchise them in future elections.
INEC must immediately reinstate the names of Kusimi community, Ewerebene community, and Tekedo Kusimi communities into the official list of communities in Warri Southwest Local Government Council. INEC must recognize and create separate electoral wards for each of these communities in line with their population and voting capacity.
NTA News gathered that the people have taken several steps, including writing letters to the INEC headquarters for correction, but their efforts are not yielding results.
We have answered INEC through our letter, but up till now, we have not seen any response from them.
A senior official of the commission in Asaba who spoke on phone, however, denied receipt of any letter from the communities, urging them to channel their request to INEC headquarters. Susan Esu, NTA News.
Moving on to legislative matters, Senate has adopted a motion urging more military deployments to the northeast to address the resurgence of Boko Haram in the northeast. This was sequel to a motion from the Senate Chief Whip, Mohammed Tahir Mungunu, and 5 other senators from Borno and Yobe states. Senate also called for the provision and use of modern technology to effectively combat the insurgents following recent attacks.
Insurgents have employed more modern technology, including the use of drones, to unleash attacks on villages and communities in the states.
In another development, Senators Adamu Aliero representing Kebbi Central, Yahya Abdullahi of Kebbi North, and Garba Maidoki from Kebbi South senatorial zones defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress APC. That defection brings to 68 the number of APC senators in the Red Chamber. In another development, the House of Representatives has rejected the second reading of a bill seeking rotational presidency among the 6 geopolitical zones. The Constitution Alteration Bill, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, failed to scale through second reading after a voice vote, which was preceded by a debate on the issue among lawmakers.
Political parties, there is an arrangement that North will do this term, the South will do this term. So I believe this is something that we must not put in our constitution.
The rotation should go down to the governorship in all the states. Mr. Speaker, I believe every zone of the country have people with capacity.
If that geopolitical zone has its own shot, the next one will wait for about 48 years. Regardless of the quality of people we'll have in that zone, this country will lose that opportunity of bringing people that will render public service for this country just because of regional affiliation.
The bill in question, obviously, is set to cure an age-long injustice in our land, especially the minority zones in the region, in Nigeria, which if the presidency of this nation and the vice presidency of this nation is allowed to be struggled in terms of election, they will not have a chance of getting to that climax.
Are we going to force parties to actually pick someone from each region? How many parties do we have? We need to look at each zone. We need to look at party politics.
Even in this National Assembly, the speakership and the deputy speakership were zoned. And so, Mr. Speaker, like Issa Jesse said, and I also align with Clements, we have 6 geopolitical zones. And if this is entrenched in the Constitution, it will bring justice.
I implore that we do not set a dangerous precedent and put it in the Constitution without due diligence, which I'm sure the Constitutional Review Committee will do so.
And those who support that 1 to 7 Constitutional Review go to the Committee on Constitutional Review for it to progress. Say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
Rotational presidency was rejected alongside 6 other constitution alteration bills that were simultaneously put to a voice vote for second reading. The ongoing dualization of the Akure-Idonre Road in Ondo State will significantly impact the development of tourism of the historic Idonre Hills. Residents believe the improved road network is a strategic move towards harnessing the economic potentials of the area, with expectations of increased local and international tourists' visits. Ifeoluwa Omosule reports.
Research shows that Ondo State is abundantly endowed with diverse economic resources ranging from bitumen, cocoa, oil and gas to ecotourism attractions. One of such is the Idonre Hills, which is known for its ancient rock formations and deep historical roots. The site continues to attract both local and international tourists, with its beauty and cultural significance gaining global attention. Despite this, available data indicates that the ecotourism sector remains largely underutilized in contributing to the state's internally generated revenue.
We have the Ark of Noah. We have the footsteps of Agbogun, the wonderful mats. We all know the unreadable handwriting of the flood. Downhill there are a lot of things that we have to open.
To improve accessibility, Ondo State government is constructing a dual carriageway spanning approximately 10 kilometers along the Akure-Idonre Road. Tourists say the road project, once completed, will significantly ease travel stress, attract more visitors, and contribute to the state's internally generated revenue.
Government should please help us do the road quickly so that we can enjoy a better road to come to this resort.
Government and the private sector can come together and do like a mini real estate resort center, so people can spend the night or spend 2 weeks.
Beyond tourism, the upgraded road is also expected to support agricultural exports, particularly cocoa, which is synonymous with the ancient town of Idori. From Idori, Ifeoluwa Amoshile, NTA News.
From Ondo State, let's equally tell you that elsewhere, the federal government has initiated reforms to revitalize Nigeria's electricity distribution sector, starting with a pilot overhaul of 2 underperforming distribution companies. Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, in a statement says this follows a comprehensive assessment of systemic challenges plaguing the distribution companies, including governance gaps, infrastructure deficits, and commercial inefficiencies. Already, a meeting with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, which presented a roadmap titled Revamping the Distribution Sector in Nigeria, was held. The pilot scheme of the reform, expected to commence between May and August this year, will target 1 distribution company in the north and another in the south. This would demonstrate a replicable model for operational turnaround, combining internal restructuring, external expertise, and federal oversight to achieve rapid improvements in service delivery. Now let's cross over to the Center of Excellence, where Awal in our Lagos Network Center has the next set of reports.
Information and Communication Technology, ICT, gaining more mileage in Nigeria. Both the young and old have been advised to take precautionary measures to ensure they don't fall victims of internet fraud. Adejoke Odeka, who spoke with an expert, tells us more.
I would home and I saw a mother, praising the son that is into that Yahoo, which is very, very bad.
A global threat index has ranked Nigeria 19th out of 112 countries experiencing an increase in cyber attacks. The Nigerian Communications Commission has also estimated that the country loses about $500 million annually to cyber-related offenses, and that many youths are involved in internet fraud as a source of economic security, with unsuspecting Nigerians falling victim.
People don't learn carpenter and other artisans. Everybody wants to make money.
For experts in the field, internet fraud cases in Nigeria is at an alarming rate.
Internet fraud cases are largely underreported in Nigeria because Nigeria's cyber crime laws are still evolving, and there are probably no very structured reporting channels for issues like that.
Creating awareness about the dangers of internet fraud and encouraging citizens to move with the times will help mitigate its prevalence.
Educate people on the potential of cyber crime perpetrators to adopt sophisticated strategies like phishing, scam to exploit people. So if people are aware of all of these things, they will be able to sort of protect themselves against it.
To combat internet fraud in Nigeria, experts believe that a multi-pronged approach is needed. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
To education. In 2014, the federal government launched the Safe School Initiative to enhance school safety and security, particularly in areas affected by violence and insecurity. The program is aimed at protecting the right to education and ensuring that children in Nigeria can learn in a safe and secure environment. Hingino John Adams in this report explores the importance of safety in schools.
Parents enroll their children and wards in school, hoping for a bright future for them. But when learning institutions become unsafe for students, teachers, and other workers, fear sets in, thereby affecting enrollment. This is a threat to achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is designed to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, as well as promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. The Safe School initiative is aimed at addressing the problem of insecurity in learning institutions by creating safer learning environments through enhancing security measures in schools and host communities.
Any place where learning will take place must be very conducive. And what do we mean by being conducive? You have to talk about what is the kind of the structure that is in place? What is the seating arrangement? How available are the teachers?
If we make certain inquiries on the basic amenities and the safety precautions that have been put in place in a school, it should also inform where we put our children.
When schools, are in the position to look after children and they fail in their responsibility, there is that remedy against negligence. It is not right.
Stakeholders believe with the Safe School initiative focusing on creating secure and conducive learning environment, ensuring the well-being of students and teachers, and promoting the continuation of education, the number of out-of-school children will reduce greatly. In Lagos, Hinginu, John Adams, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos. Nationwide news will continue in Jos after the break. Don't go away.
You're welcome back to Abuja. Mass communication students of Philomath University, Abuja, are on a practical learning excursion to the headquarters of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, as part of efforts to bridge the gap between classroom theory and industry practice. The students were taken round the largest television network studio and work areas equipped with advanced communication gadgets and devices.
This has been very educative and impactful as well. We're able to put visuals to things we've been learning over time. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Sometimes I might not understand what's going on, but me coming here now, I'm seeing, okay, the control room, different aspects, how broadcasting goes from live programs and all. So I've learned a lot, I would say, because now I can sit in exams and just be like, oh, I understand what's going on because I'm here at NTA headquarters Abuja.
We have a feel of what it entails. So we try to teach them that, but they have not practicalized it. And they may not have had an idea to go to a station to actually know, okay, this is what is there. So we can tell them, oh, you find this, you find that, this is what you should do. But now they're going to actually see it practically.
The academic visit organized by the Department of Mass Communication provided students with first-hand exposure to professional broadcast operations and newsroom activities with key discussions on ethics in journalism, media innovation and career opportunities within the broadcast industry. The federal government has launched a 300 billion naira sovereign Sukuk insurance to accelerate the pace of infrastructural development across the country. NECA also reports that the Sukuk, which is based on Islamic finance principles, offers investors a non-interest asset-backed investment opportunity.
Non-interest instrument due in 2032 offers a 19.75% annual rental income with a minimum investment of 10,000 naira priced at 1,000 naira per unit and requiring multiples of 1,000 naira thereafter. Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, said the issuance seeks to fund critical infrastructure projects while expanding opportunities for ethical investors.
When the funds are raised, they're used to finance specific capital projects that are domiciled with some ministries. So this 300 billion will follow the same pattern. It is for roads, it is for bridges, to improve, at least reduce the deficit we have in infrastructure, to support the objective of growth and development.
The interactive session that followed allowed participants to seek clarifications on various aspects of the program as various institutions expressed intent to participate in the Sukuk issuance.
Unlike conventional bonds, this one is tax-free. Okay, the returns are tax-free, and again, as I've said earlier on, you have a predictable, return.
With an offering size of 300 billion naira, the Sukuk 7 issuance opens May 12th and closes May 20th, 2025. In Abuja, Naikauku, NTA News.
Time now to go over to our Jos Network Center, and Mary is our guide.
Welcome to Jos. Management of the National Orthopedic Hospital Jos says it is poised to deliver excellent and sustainable services in clinical, musculoskeletal and trauma care that will discourage medical tourism abroad. The medical director of the hospital, Professor Icha Inalegu Onche, gave this indication while addressing newsmen on the level of work on the newly established hospital in Jos. Ijoma Ozemena has more.
The mission of the National Orthopedic Hospital Jos is to build generations of mobile, healthy and functional population in ever-increasing musculoskeletal challenges. The medical director, who is also an orthopedic specialist, says the hospital has skilled manpower to diagnose and treat a wide range of injuries, including fractures, ligaments, tears, dislocations, hip and joint problems, and movement. In addition, the National Orthopedic Hospital will provide emergency medical services, trauma services, spine surgery, pediatric services, physiotherapy, bones and plastic construction, among others.
We are ready to start the outpatient clinics now. In the next 2 weeks, when we recruit our staff and they take up positions, they can now go into inpatient care. As for now, we have surgeons with us who are willing and ready to start the outpatient clinics.
With the takeoff of the hospital, there is need for the National Health Insurance Authority to include issues of orthopedics in the health insurance policy to make orthopedic care more accessible to Nigerians. He further notes that physicians from other specialties will be accommodated for better healthcare delivery. The orthopedic hospital, which will soon commence services, will serve Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Kwara, and Niger states in Jos. Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang is calling for sustained prayer for the restoration of peace in Plateau State. This was while receiving the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye in Jos. Ndayang and Ibagang has details.
The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, says he is in the state to commiserate with the government and people of the state over the incessant attacks in some communities in recent weeks. He says human efforts can fail at any time, but God's hands are always and forever strong. As such, the governor and the people should remain firm and look up to God for a lasting solution to the perennial crisis.
The arm of flesh can fail. But there is someone called the Lord of Hosts. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't slumber. And when nobody else can help, he is there to help us.
Governor Mutfwang thanked the clergyman for the visit and his investment in the spiritual lives of the people of the state.
We look forward to joining the prayer in the evening so that we can continue to look up to God, who is our strength, who is our refuge. It is when we look up to him, we cry to him, that he will give us wisdom also on what to do.
The governor also appealed to the cleric to continue to pray for the state and its people, especially at this trying time. In Jos, Ndenyan and Abuja, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide will continue with Ayo in our Abuja studio.
Thanks so much, Marina Jos Network Center. Now, earlier we brought you a report by Ifeoluwa Omosule on the dualization of the Akure-Idonre Road and how it intends to impact the historic Idore Hills. Now let's cross over now to join Ifeoluwa right now out there to tell us more. Speak to it. What impact would the dualization ongoing bring to tourism and agricultural trade in that area of the country?
Yes, thank you, Ayodeji. Statistics shows that Ondo State recently made 40 billion naira as revenue generation, as it solely relied on cocoa, oil and gas. And but attention seems to be shifting now to ecotourism and cocoa in Idore with the dualization of the Akure Idore Road. The Idore Hill is this historical settlement of the Idore people, as it gives insights into the history and cultural heritage of the Idore people. And beyond the historical landscape, beyond the physical landscape, the Idore Hills shows the historical architecture of Idore. And then this has been attracting tourists to the site. But tourists are of the opinion that if the government can invest heavily in refurbishing, revamping the Idore Hills, it will still bring about tourists coming to the site. And they actually think that the dualization of the Akure Idore Road is a good step in a good direction that will actually still encourage tourists to the hill. And then they actually think that this will still facilitate employment opportunities for the teeming youths, and small businesses will spring up with if tourists are trooping into the hills to have a view. And then concerning the cocoa, Idore is said to be the largest producer, one of the largest producers of cocoa in Ondo State. And then with the dualization of the Akure Idore Road, it will actually still facilitate transportation of cocoa from Idore, especially with heavy-duty trucks.
Well, Ifeoluwa, I'm just wondering, what are the challenges which could limit the full potential of the ecotourism in Ondo State?
First thing is the deplorable state of the Akure Idore Road, which is actually being tackled now. Work is ongoing. Contractors are on the road working on it to ensure that the road is motorable. And this, no doubt, will actually encourage tourists to the Idore Hills. And another thing is the tourists are clamoring for is the revamp of the Idore Hill. They want the government to invest in ensuring a restructuring without tampering with the historical landscape of the Idore Hill.
Well, surely we expect that to also come with improved security and every other thing that would boost tourism in Idore and Ondo State at large. Thanks so much for your contribution, Ifeoluwa Omosule from Idore there in Ondo State.
Thank you, Ayodeji.
Elsewhere, Nigeria is hosting 57 Euro-African countries for the first thematic meeting of the Rabat process, co-chaired by the Kingdom of Spain through the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. Ruth Oguele reports that the meeting seeks to explore ways of leveraging the potential of Nigerian youth by harnessing their skills for sustainable development.
With a growing demography of the youthful population, and as migration issues evolve, there is a need for Africa to look inwards and come up with homegrown solutions to stem the tide. So here, Nigeria set the stage for 57 Euro-African countries who have gathered for the Rabat process to deliberate on issues of migration that affects young people who are mostly caught in the web of the Japa syndrome. This high-level thematic meeting seeks to explore and harness opportunities for the youth through innovation, skills transfer, and diaspora engagement for sustainable development.
Over 60% of our population are under 25. These young men and women carry within them the promise of innovation, resilience, and leadership, and yet many remain on the margin of these opportunities. We are determined to change this.
Any country that is going to create an employment and good education, innovations for the young people must first create an enable environment for the young people to thrive. And that is what this administration is based on.
All these elements will be quintessential in persuading young generation to avoid risking their lives through irregular channels.
Respect for human rights and rule of law, including international law, protection of migrants, in particular the most vulnerable, against all forms of exploitation and trafficking.
So as we host this meeting here, we hope that we can truly put a stop to the issue of irregular migration and find practical solutions to safe pathways to regular migration.
For the National Commission of Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, it is a clarion call to nations to identify and share good practices in youth empowerment and innovative migration schemes. And as the dialogue continues, participating countries are expected to promote youth-focused migration initiatives. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Well, obviously, one way that people migrate illegally is through the use of water. But back here in Nigeria, the use of life jackets by operators and passengers remain the sure way to curbing boat mishaps in the state and country at large. Correspondent Iveren Solomon visited the Wadata Jetty unit in Makudi to give an update on the level of compliance with this safety measure so far.
It will be recalled that 20 persons, mostly women and children, died following a boat mishap on the River Benue, a situation which was attributed to overloading, a condition that would have been avoided if they wore life jackets. Many months have passed. However, the situation still lingers. Despite the presence of the enforcement team from the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, only a few persons had the life jackets on. This, some of the boat drivers say they cannot afford the cost of buying the jackets, especially for the wooden boat, which conveys many passengers and goods.
I have two for now. So the reason why it's not here with me, just that if I may wear, why other will not wear, it will not be possible like that. That is why I keep them, start buying them one.
To see the dead body might get us. So they're now telling us, make everybody to be try and buy life jacket. That is why I buy life jacket to save my passenger, their life and other things.
Attitudinal behavior also plays down in Isiaka Abdullahi, a commuter's response on safety adherence.
I'm traveling, so I don't care wearing jackets or not.
Continuous enforcement and sensitization of the people on the importance of life jackets will harness safety of lives and property. In Makudi, Iveren Solomon, NTA News.
Now let's reconnect with Iveren out there at the Wadata Jetty unit to really give us the situation report. What really is the challenge that is hindering compliance and enforcement of life jackets, particularly for those around that area?
Thank you very much. Life jacket itself, it's very, very important because it helps curb death anytime there is any mishap, boat mishap. You see, first of all, water transportation is one of the safest means of transportation. However, if there are no compliance on the use of safety measures like the use of life jackets, then it becomes terrifying. I'm here at the Wadata jetties, and it's observed that only the speedboats, which usually carries about 12 to 14 persons to far states of the country, are complying with the use of life jackets. However, the big boats, which carries over 30 passengers, is yet to comply with the use of life jackets. And the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, on their part, have engaged stakeholders and community chiefs and boat operators in various meetings to tell them of the importance of using these life jackets. And they've gone as far as giving them some of these life jackets. But, you know, like the saying goes, you can take a horse to the river, but you can't force the horse to take from the river. So that's the attitude of the people right now. However, some of the boat operators have lamented about the cost of buying these life jackets, especially the big boats. They've complained about the high cost of purchasing these life jackets because they said one jacket goes for 17,000 naira, a situation which is beyond their purchasing power. And now that the rivers, the rains has intensified, it is believed that there is every need for these boat operators and passengers to use these life jackets to curb the menace of boat mishap or deaths whenever there is boat mishap. The people also have called on the relevant authorities, NGOs, and good-spirited individuals to make available these life jackets, even if it's at subsidized rate for them to purchase, as it will go a long way to help them.
Obviously, it's really interesting to know that there's a clarion call for those, for more support for the provision of life jackets to make it affordable and, of course, make it available for those who use water transportation. And we expect also compliance on the part of those who surely engage in boat services. Thanks so much for your contribution from the Wadata Jetty in Makudi.
Thank you very much.
All right, from the food basket of the nation there in Benue State, let's go to the seat of Caliphate, and Asmao in our Sokoto Network Center has the next set of reports.
Hello there and welcome to Sokoto. Efforts to curb illegal mining activities by the federal and state governments have been described as a step in the right direction in addressing insecurity and improving the revenue drive in the nation's non-oil sector. This was part of the view of stakeholders in the solid minerals subsector during a sensitization tour to some local government areas of Sokoto State. Elhat Abdullahi has more.
A survey shows that there are over 1,200 illegal mining sites across the country. There are many of such sites across the 23 local government areas of Sokoto State that is contending with activities of bandits and other forms of criminality. Tambagarka village of Godabawa local government area is one of the hubs of illegal mining where hundreds of school-aged children and adults operate. While sensitizing people in the area, a cross-section of stakeholders in the sector noted that banning of illegal mining sites across the country is to regulate the business by making it more attractive for local and direct foreign investment. Doing this will enhance economic growth and ensure the safety of human lives, as well as make it easy for the government to provide critical infrastructure to promote well-being of the citizens.
That we are thinking of finding somebody an investor that will come and take over this place. We find somebody who is an investor who will be mining this area the way it's supposed to be legally.
We'll ensure that our environment is protected, well protected. The community is well developed.
The community leaders acknowledged the presence of illegal mining sites in their locality and lament their consequences on public health, economy, and the ecosystem, with a call on relevant authorities to take necessary measures to check the phenomenon. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The importance of moral upbringing of children and the unwavering commitment to wives to their marital responsibilities in line with Islamic teachings took center stage at the monthly Mu'tamar organized by the Muslim Sisters Organization MSU Sokoto State Chapter. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The Muslim Sisters Organization set aside a special day to celebrate sisterhood, unity, and shared commitment to building a righteous Muslim society. The event served not only as a moment of joy and spiritual connection, but also as a platform for deep reflection on the essential roles within Muslim households. Key discussions centered around the importance of a devoted wife, a responsible husband, and the moral upbringing of children. Speakers at the occasion emphasized on the importance of an Islamic lifestyle, rooted in values such as understanding, compassion, cooperation, and peace. The Amira Muslim Sisters Organization Amina Musa Sakaba speaks on the topic titled The Muslim Home as timely and significant as Muslim needs to be reminded to establish Muslim home and rich values to nurture a more confident, secure community.
We're expecting all the females that come to this program will listen to the lectures, and at least we know they are going to benefit from one thing or the other.
We should contribute to the benefit of the society. We should not bring anything that is going to be destructive or bring problem to anybody on earth. We should be very helpful, very understanding, very productive. We should not be lazy. We should give out.
To teach our children how to become the good Muslims, how to behave well, to know how to stay with the people, how to interact, how to stay peacefully in the society. We have learned a lot.
The participants left the event inspired and renewed in their commitment not only to build pious homes, but to actively contribute to a peaceful, God-fearing as well as society rooted in Islamic values. From Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues in our Enugu Network Center right after this timeout. Please.
Good evening and welcome to Enugu Network Center. Described as one of the finest health institutions in the country, the National Orthopedic Hospital Enugu has a role to play to meet the people's health needs and to help reverse medical tourism in the country. This was the submission of the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isaac Salako, during a walking visit to the hospital. Chimaruke was there.
The National Orthopedic Hospital Enugu is a referral center for orthopedic and trauma cases from the southeast, south-south, and north-central zones of the country. It is also a training center for orthopedic and trauma nurses, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, orthopedic technicians, and technologists. The visit of the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare is in line with the efforts of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's priority to improve Nigeria's healthcare sector through various initiatives. While taking a tour of the facility and inaugurating some key projects, the minister assured to address some challenges faced by the hospital management and also look into the welfare of its health workers. He reiterated government's commitment to improve Nigeria's healthcare system to be at par with the international best practices.
The government is going to support the hospital with hardware infrastructure and also look at the current software they're using. And if there's a need to upgrade, the government will upgrade it. But I've also noticed the challenge with respect to power. Government is convening a national dialogue on power in the health sector, which is going to help the hospital is prioritizing the welfare of the workers. You know that the president has increased the retirement age.
The board chairman and the medical director, National Orthopedic Hospital Enugu, applauded President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and blueprint in the health sector. They promised more commitment and dedication for improved healthcare delivery to Nigerians.
We moved around and saw the things we have been doing for the past almost 3 years now. And their comments were reassuring and satisfactory.
For the health workers, the minister's visit to the hospital is a commitment for display of professionalism. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to decentralize opportunities by deepening inclusion and unlocking the full potentials of Nigeria's digital economy in all regions. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Boshun Tijani, made this known during the official inauguration of the National Information Technology Development Agent, NITDA, Southeast Zonal Office in Enugu. Chika Ugu reports.
The minister said that the future of digital economy in Nigeria is not meant only at the federal level, but to be co-created across all states in order to achieve success. He explained that no region should be left waiting for innovation to reach them.
It is the establishment of a permanent bridge between national policy and local potential. It is a strategic move under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a commitment to decentralizing opportunity, deepening inclusion, and unlocking the full power of Nigeria's digital economy across every region.
Inaugurating the office, Governor Mba revealed the essence of technology, especially among the teeming youths in the region, for their overall development.
I commissioned this structure, confident that it will open a new horizon for our youth, and it will generally move us closer to our dream to a diversified revenue stream.
The agency has the responsibility of creating a framework for planning, research, development, application, monitoring, and regulation of information technology practices in Nigeria. In Enugu, Chika Ubu, NTA News.
Those are the stories from here. It's back to Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thanks so much. Comfort in Enugu. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, maintains that President Bola Tinubu welcomes constructive criticism at all times, but will never allow himself to be distracted from doing what is right for Nigeria. He represented the president at the launch of a book titled Being True to Myself, an autobiography of former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, who is also the author. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
But since His Excellency the President is represented,
it was a stage of the high and mighty, mostly the political class from across political parties. On stage, on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the government spokesman who acknowledged the resilience of Nigerians that are keeping faith in the policies of the renewed hope government that is demonstrating impactful governance.
After a somewhat rocky start, owing to the toughness of the inevitable reforms that he has embarked upon, we are now entering an era of intended beneficial outcomes underlined by macroeconomic stability. Have there been some pains accompanying these efforts? Of course, yes. The President himself will be the first to agree, but he remains resolute in his commitment to introducing programs and policies to alleviate these pains and make life better for all Nigerians. Take the example of the tax clause, which will hopefully be signed any moment. This is intended to grow our revenues, not just for the federal government, but also for the subnationals, while also taking care not to impose additional burden for all taxpayers.
The president described the author and his intellectual property as a significant contribution to Nigeria's political literature and democratic discourse. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And before we go, we can confirm to you that the funeral in honor of the late Chief Edwin Clark is currently ongoing at St. Paul's Anglican Church, Olumo Archdeaconry, Kiagboro Parish, in Delta State, with family members, friends, and other well-wishers from far and near in attendance. We'll continue to update you as the program unfolds. And that's Nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde from all of us here in the Federal Capital Territory. Bye-bye.